When I think of the word hood, I think of a person, a place, and perhaps even a thing. I am Sir Creepsta, and welcome to true and amazing stories from abroad. So, sit back, relax, grab your snacks, and be entertained by yet another story. Tonight's story is entitled The Long Ride Home. The year was 1988. The place, Las Vegas, Nevada. Jane, a single mother of two, was relaxing at her home, enjoying her Saturday night off with her children, as she often did, when she got a phone call from one of her girlfriends asking her if she was busy, and if not, would she like to get out of the house for a little while, seeing that she was somewhat of a recluse and never did. The reason being that she happened to be very religious, and going to clubs where there would be plenty of alcohol and loud music just wasn't her thing. But after being convinced by her friend that the club they would be attending was a new one and that there hadn't been any negative reviews about it, Jane would ultimately decide to indeed enjoy a night out on town with her friend. But unbeknownst to her, this would be a choice that she would never forget, and one that would solidify her release in divine intervention forever. After speaking on the phone with her friend, Jane went to work right away on finding a sitter for her two children, ages 10 and 8. Finally, after making a couple of calls, she was able to get hold of her eldest niece, who gladly agreed to watch over her children, realizing that all her auntie ever did was work and take care of her kids. Around 9, her ride arrived at her house, along with two other girlfriends of theirs, and they were off to the club, which is approximately a 30-minute or so drive from Jane's house. Upon arriving at the club, the four girls grabbed their purses and rushed to the entry, noticing just how filled up the parking lot already was. After gaining entry to the club, they were shocked to see just how crowded the fairly large club already was inside. But thanks to the keen eyes of one of the girls, they spotted an empty table located near the back of the club, and they all rushed to it before it was taken. After being seated for about 10 minutes, Jane's three friends decided to grab a drink and mingle with the crowd that was in the club. Sitting there all alone, a feel of dread quickly overtook Jane's body, realizing that this was the first time that she'd ever left her children at home. And although they were in good hands, it still didn't take away the amount of guilt and complete letdown that she felt inside. But not wanting to do anything to ruin her friend's night out, Jane decided to push through her guilt and loosen up just a little bit. So she went to the bar and ordered a non-alcoholic drink. While standing there, taking in everything, a strange thing happened. Through the entry of the front door, a man emerged, dressed in white from head to toe. At that moment, time seemed to stand still, and the man in white, who had appeared to have an aura around him that glowed, slowly made his way towards Jane. As the man slowly approached her, Jane was speechless, and it seemed to her that she was the only one in the club that recognized this well-dressed man. The man then came up to Jane, stood beside her, and started talking to her, telling her that she was not where she needed to be, and that she didn't belong there, and that she should be at home with her children. Then the man reached out his hand and told Jane to take it, and that he would take her home. Not being one to ever talk to a stranger, let alone take a ride from one, Jane felt compelled to oblige the man and left without a second thought. As the two went outside, Jane saw that parked in front of the club was a white Cadillac that belonged to the man. The man then went around to the passenger side, opened it, and motioned for Jane to get in. As they traveled across town, Jane nor the strange man said a word to one another. Before she knew it, we were pulling up to her house. At that moment, the man said goodbye as Jane exited the vehicle and walked up to the front door. While taking out her keys, it suddenly dawned on her that one, she never told the man where she lived, and two, the street that she lived on was a dead end. So she quickly turned and tried to catch the driver of the car to let him know. But when she looked up her street, the car that had dropped her off was nowhere in sight. It was as if it had just vanished into thin air. Jane didn't know what to think of this, but the feeling of fear ran up and down her body. But this was the least of it. Once inside her house, she received a phone call from her girlfriend who had picked her up earlier, telling her that right after she left, a gunman had entered the club and shot 4 people. And the scariest thing about the shooting was that the people that were shot had occupied the table in the back where all 4 of them were sitting. Meaning that had she been there, one shot could have easily been them had they not left soon after she did. At that moment, a feeling of calm fell over Jane's body, for she knew it was nothing but divine intervention that had saved her life, and that the man who took her home had to have been none other than her guardian angel.